Hello friends, and welcome back to a new video. So we are now into February, and as far as the goals I had laid out for myself for the year, I haven't done anything to accomplish them. It is now time to take action. And so I wanted to share with you my system for basically writing down goals, making it visually appealing, and hopefully something to help me stay motivated as I proceed to accomplish said goal. So if you're having a hard time getting your goals started or finished for that matter, then I hope you find this video helpful. So let's go ahead and jump in and look at some of the goals that I had set out for myself. One way that I'm using my Hobonichi planner, just wanted to say, is that I write my monthly goals as far as things that I want to set up for my son. Make sure that he's staying up with his developmental milestones, more or less. But that aside, these are the goals that I had set out for myself for the year. So I wanted to learn how to watercolor, want to crochet or knit more. I want to do some more content creation and stay on top of that. I want to stay in contact with friends, let's not be a hermit kind of thing. Write my books. This is something that I've had on my mind for several years now. Finish my mom's website as well as a website for myself. So as far as all of these goals, these are definitely attainable, and I know that I can actually get these accomplished if I set out a plan for myself to do so. When I was reflecting on these specific goals, I crossed out Poshmark. Initially, I had wanted to stay on top of my shop, making sure that my listings looked good, that I was reposting, you know what I mean, do all the stuff that you need to do to be able to sell clothes online. But it was just taking up too much of my time, more so than it was worth what I was actually getting in return. So I said, you know what, goodbye. I was just kind of drowning in clothes. I wanted that space in my closet, and I realized, you know what, if I'm trying to get these other things done, then I think it's time we say goodbye to Poshmark and maybe revisit it at a time when my life is a little bit more stable, I guess I could say, or when I'm in a place where I have the space in my mind to be able to stay on top of my Poshmark shop. So we said goodbye to that. Once I had established which goals were actually attainable for me, then I reflected on what's the lowest hanging fruit. The reason you want to ask yourself this question is because when you accomplish a goal, that's going to give you more motivation to continue to do other things, to accomplish your other goals, or even staying within like the realm of that goal, going on to something a little bit more challenging. So for example, like I said, crocheting or knitting for me was the lowest hanging fruit. I'm gonna make my grandma some leg warmers, and I know that's really simple. If I wanted to stay within crocheting or knitting as a goal, then I can make something a little bit more complex, like knit a scarf with a cable knit, where I'm gonna have to teach myself how to cable knit, but it's also gonna be simple enough that it's just like one long piece of knitting stitches. So that aside, if you look at these goals, you're going to see these are very, very not specific goals, and that's okay, because for me, this was just a starting point of things that I wanted to do more of. From here, I'm going to break it down, and that is what I want to share with you, is how I break down my goals in a way that is like the SMART method, but also for me, like visually aesthetic, and potentially something that I can refer back to so that I am staying accountable to myself, but also staying motivated as I accomplish my goal. So if you're not the most consistent planner like me, and I think that's probably going to be the majority of us, you're going to have lots of blank pages in your planner. I do have a blank page here that I'm going to do my planning for crocheting or knitting more. I'm not going to speak during this part just to kind of make things go by a little bit faster, but once I am done with the layout, then I will explain what I've done. Real quick, I'm actually going to use January 16th and the 17th because I forgot that I wanted to do this as a 2-page spread instead of a 1-page spread, since unfortunately we do tend to lose a lot of space down here and a little space up here. So okay, let's jump into it. All right, so this is the layout that I've come up with so that I can plan out how to accomplish my goals. So let's fill things in together. First up is my goal. So this is going to be my more generic goal of learning, nope, not learning to watercolor. It's going to be my goal for crocheting or knitting more. By the way, the markers that I've used are my Zig Clean Color Dot markers. This is black and this is pink. These are such good markers. So this is my goal. It's not specific. It's just like, what do I want to do? I want to crochet or knit more. But in order for me to accomplish said goal, I need to have an outcome, have a purpose for what I'm doing. That's what this little section is. It's just going to be brief and what I'm planning to crochet or knit. So first I need to decide, am I going to crochet or am I going to knit? Since I don't want to be dealing with knitting needles, I am just going to pick crochet. I'm going to crochet some leg warmers for my grandma. Now, the why section is very important. It is a section for you to reflect on why this is something that you want. What impact might the outcome have on accomplishing your overarching goal? And answering the why is also important for your specific motivation. Oftentimes when we have to do something, it is difficult to get that motivation to do it because it either is not fun or it feels like a chore. But having the why in the back of your mind, or I guess in the front of your mind, is going to help you to stay motivated, to look to that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, I guess. I don't know what the expression is here. I'm not very good at those. All right, I'm just going to stop rambling and fill out my why section. All right, so I've listed a bunch of reasons, just kind of like keeping it short and sweet, but a bunch of reasons why I want to specifically make leg warmers for my grandma. So this next section is the process by which I will go about accomplishing my goal of crocheting my grandma some leg warmers. And in that, for me, it works best if I do a step-by-step kind of thing. I will probably miss steps, and if you do this, I would probably advise that you use a pencil. I'm just going to use a pen. It's okay, or I guess my marker. It's okay if I do miss some steps because once I get started, it's not really going to matter all that much, but it is significant to help you get started on accomplishing your goal. All right, so as far as the process, I try to make each step a little bit on the shorter end so that if I had a lot of steps to write down, that I had this other side with which to write them. But I guess I could have also just, if I had written more, just go all the way across. Either way, I think would have worked just fine. All right, so duration, going back to like that SMART goal setting, you need to have a time frame by which you want to accomplish this goal. So that's why I have duration and frequency, and I didn't devote a lot of space. And I would plan to start my new project. I had to check the calendar. So I plan to start my new project on February 24th until March 30th. So that is about 4 weeks, a little bit longer than that. And if I don't make my goal of March 30th, that's okay because by that point it's going to be nice and warm and it's not like my grandma's going to need leg warmers necessarily. So I still have time. Nonetheless, I still want to have it in my mind to have a deadline. And really it is more for accountability so that this is a project that doesn't go unfinished. It is a project that I will finish and hopefully move on to other things that I want to accomplish. And as far as frequency, having a plan for actually getting it done, I would want to do it, I think 3 times a week is very reasonable for me. All right, so as far as frequency, I put down here 3 times a week for 20 minutes each time. And I think that's going to be long enough for me to get something accomplished. And this is going to be enough for me to probably account for days that I might be too tired or have something else going on late into the night. So it's a reasonable amount of time to devote to accomplishing my goal. All right, so since I am going to be working on this 3 times a week for about 4 weeks, I'm going to put that in my progress section as such. Now, I could have used my rulers to make more perfect boxes, but right now I don't have time for that, so we're just making boxes freehand. But basically how this works is for that each week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, I will check off a box. It's kind of like a visual way of holding myself accountable to the time that I said I would devote to this goal. The last section, I think it's pretty self-explanatory as far as thinking about challenges that I'm going to encounter ahead of time and thinking about solutions for those challenges so that if I do encounter those challenges, I am a little bit more prepared. All right, so let's go ahead and write down some challenges and solutions. Okay, so here is my challenges and solutions section. I knew that frustrations was going to require a little bit more reflection on my part as far as solution for my frustrations. So I did leave that to the end so I can write a little bit more than 1 or 2 lines. Overall, I'm happy with how this turned out. So let's look at how it looks overall. This is my plan for accomplishing my goals. What's nice about this layout, for me at least, it's kind of fun to look at. I was kind of, I guess you could say, inspired by, you know, those like infographics that you see maybe like from like government organizations on eating your fruits and vegetables or how to avoid getting the flu. You know, those kinds of infographics, they're fun to look at, and so it makes you want to read it. And that was kind of what I was going for as far as this layout. But more significantly, as far as planning out your goals, is really to get you to reflect on how you're going to do it, when you're going to get it done, can you actually achieve it, what obstacles are you going to run into, and how can you overcome them. It's really a kind of like a sit down and reflect on paper, and really this is just one way that you can do it. And with this layout also, it can really be modified in various ways. You can make these rows a little bit bigger or smaller to suit your needs. For other goals that I have planned, you know, this progress is going to look a lot different, especially like when it comes to building a website. I don't necessarily know that I can do a layout like this. I think I may want to try, I'm not sure, but I can already tell that it's not going to kind of work out the same, but it can be customized to suit your needs. So hope you find this helpful, and if you try it out, let me know, show me how you did it, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, bye.